whoever wants to, I loved this information this week. And I think one of the reasons why is because I'm not anti-technology, but I've done a lot of research on media and how it affects especially teenagers. And so I think I don't have a Facebook because I don't like the negative aspect that comes with it, and it takes so much time. And so I think it was just super good for me to see all of the good that can come from it, and that I need to be accessing it and using it in a positive way. Anybody have any thoughts?
So I think for me, like I put this in my discussion board. Like initially when I got on Facebook, it was because my older daughters were on, and I wanted to, try to be a good parent and be involved with what they were doing, and just being aware. But it's just exploded so much that unless I'm on, Snapchat and Tumblr and Instagram and everything, and I don't think any one person, not any of my kids, are on every form of media.
No one's really even on Facebook
anymore. And my daughter just commented that nobody's even on Facebook anymore. I guess us old people are. But how do we do all of that? And I don't think we do. I think we do. We worry about touching our circle of influence. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Wanda, ask your daughter, what do they use? How old is your daughter, and what do they use?
And I think she's mostly on Tumblr, right? Yeah.
Snapchat to communicate.
She uses a little bit of Snapchat to communicate. My son, who's 16, loves Reddit and Snapchat. I don't
know what either one of those things are. I'm going to write it down.
I know that Instagram and Twitter are also big. My siblings always make fun of me, and I'm not even that old, but they make fun of me for using Facebook still too. I just use it to connect with people for my mission. But my 16 and 17-year-old siblings, they love Twitter.
So my oldest uses Twitter. He's 22. I think he's 22. So he does Twitter. I have nieces that use Instagram.
Rachel uses Facebook.
Yeah, Rachel uses it, but mostly just the messenger portion of Facebook. Oh, yeah. So Tumblr, I don't know, Mary would have to describe Tumblr to
everyone
you guys.
Has a blog.
It's just a blog that people are running. So
she says, no, everyone has their own
Tumblr
blog.
Is a blog?
No, so everyone has their own blog, and everyone...
She doesn't know how to describe it.
Apparently we better get on it and find out.
Stories and things where you kind of tag the different things, and then they all get kind of grouped together in a section. And Instagram, it's kind of like Facebook-ish. But it's like pictures and videos. And then I have a friend, and she told me that she uses Marco Polo. Have you guys heard of Marco Polo?
Never.
I actually do know what that is.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. My husband has that.
Yeah, it's like post a short little video, and then in a group. So it's a closed group, and then everybody just watches the groups of videos. She uses it mostly with her siblings. So she's got 7 sisters, and so everybody just posts, oh, see the dishes, I hate them, and whatever they post, and then they watch everybody's videos.
My family.
My kids all use it with my husband. My kids use it with my husband because they love it, because on Marco Polo you can distort your face. You can do weird things to your face, and you can change the tone of your voice. So that's the only reason why my husband does it, is because all of our kids and my husband change their voice or stretch their face or do whatever. It's funny. That's why they like it.
So my daughter said that sounds like Snapchat, but I think Snapchat mostly still.
I miss missed the end of that, but my 15-year-old son loves Snapchat. He and his friends don't text; they use Snapchat now.
Well, and my 16-year-old says you can ask somebody for their Snapchat, but asking them for their phone number is more intimate. So you can, by Ben, that you can ask them for those types of things, but until you really know them, you don't ask them for their phone number.
Okay.
Yeah, my son uses Instagram and Snapchat. I don't know what all that other stuff is, but yeah.
Instagram is the only thing that I have, and I do like Instagram because you can just post little things really fast, and it keeps me in touch with my grandkids.
Right. And it doesn't have all the ads and junk that Facebook has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I don't know. I don't usually see as much political stuff on Instagram because it's a fast post.
Right.
You know,
Well,
so I like that better too.
more personal.
Yeah. Yeah. So what else? Anybody else have any thoughts from anything that you loved the part in Elder Bednar's talk too, when he gave all of the, well, not all, but he gave the resources that different prophets had prophesied that, you know, inventions would come that would help us be able to reach everyone in the world quickly. I thought that was so cool. Did anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought that was neat where he said, you know, the Lord has helped people be inspired to invent these things. And I just thought that was really, I always kind of thought that, but it was really neat to hear him actually say the words. Like, this is why we have these things, not just to have Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. And I loved it how he said, I wrote it down because I loved it. Every discovery in science and art that is really true and useful to mankind has been given by direct revelation from God, even though few acknowledge it.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool.
Oh, that was really neat.
Anybody else? Any other insights or thoughts anybody had from this week?
I agree. I thought that was really cool. But what also stuck with me is the quote from President McKay about how we would get those technologies, but that would be the biggest challenge. Like, he made it sound like the biggest challenge ever for mankind. And I don't, like, reading through the lesson, I realized things that I've been doing that I was like, oh, I could do better, you know? Like, I'm not really, like, I don't feel like I use it for anything bad, you know, but I could do a lot better using it for good. And I know that, like, part of the assignment was to choose 2 posts and 2, like, websites or blogs. And I wrote down 2 of my relatives because I have a cousin. It's my cousin's daughter. And fairly regularly, she posts uplifting things, you know. And just yesterday or the day before, she posted this quote about, remember that an airplane doesn't take off with the wind at its back. I can't remember exactly. I found it. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. And like, she posts stuff like that pretty regularly. And then I have an uncle that almost every morning he posts something uplifting. And it could just be an experience from his life or a quote that he found or something. But then he ends his post with, oh, what a beautiful morning. And like, when he first started doing this, he had a lot of friends that were like, oh my gosh, you just said it again. Oh, what a beautiful morning. But he's been doing it now for like 2 or 3 years. And I actually really look forward to it. Like, I think it's wonderful that he's posting something uplifting and that he's looking for good things in his life. So I could do a better job at following their example.
Hey, one more time. I'm just writing down that quote. What's the very end of it? I said, remember, an airplane doesn't take off.
The airplane, okay. It's when everything seems to be going against you. Remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it.
Thank you.
I'll copy and paste it into our little messages.
Oh, cool.
That will help.
That's awesome. Well, I love to, kind of going back to Elder Bednar's talk, I felt like something that he was saying, and I read another talk by him that I felt like he was saying that the internet was made for missionary work, and it was made for our day to be able to spread the gospel around the world. And though there are so many things, so many other things that we use it for, the real reason why it was invented was to spread the gospel. And how else can we go around and be able to touch everyone in the whole world? There's no way that we, as you know, the church is big, but it's not that big. And to reach every person in the world, this is the only way that we can reach them. And so that was just kind of something that I was impressed with, that we'll be able to reach everyone. And that's just such a neat thing. And though, like, there's so many different forms of social media, we're able to touch in so many ways. And I'm so impressed with how the church does such a good job at kind of being on all those different parts. Like they said, some of the 12 have a Twitter, and we all have a Facebook, and they've always been kind of on top of being in social media, which is an example to me when I'm like, oh, well, I don't really want to be on it. Like, well, they're on it and they're sharing good things, and so that must mean that I should be doing the same, you know.
Before Elder Perry died, my best friend, her son, that was, I think he was back from his mission, I think he was 21, went to a conference, and Elder Perry was there, and they opened it up for everybody to ask questions. And Elder Perry was, I think, 93. Maybe he was 96. I can't remember how old he was, but he was older. And somebody asked the question, what is the best way to spread the gospel? And so he started telling why. And then he said, he stopped all of a sudden. And Elder Perry said, and what about Twitter? Do all of you guys know about Twitter? And started explaining to them all about Twitter and how that was the best way to. So, I mean, the general authorities are on top of it. It's amazing to me how much they're aware of all of the technology and how to use it.
Yeah, I think it was in something we read yesterday where Elder Ballard was saying people think that we are old and we live in a bubble, like that we don't understand what's going on in the world. But when you think about how much they travel and how much of the world they've seen, and everything that they deal with and are aware of, he's like, we don't live in a bubble. Like, it's the furthest thing from that, you know. I really like that. Yeah, they know what's going on. So yesterday when I was looking for something to post, I came across this LDS site it's something like Create Media. Have any of you seen this? I had never seen it before. If you go to their social media section of the LDS website, there's this Create Media section, and it's like just tons and tons of pictures, and anyone can put their own pictures on there. And then, like, it says you can take them and put your own captions to them. It's pretty cool. I didn't look at it a whole lot, but I didn't even know it existed.
What's the website?
Was it LDS.org or was it
somewhere on LDS.org?
Okay.
Give me a second and I'll see if I can find a link.
That's super cool. The thing with the 6 sisters too, I don't know if you guys knew them before, but I've seen their cookbooks before. I had no idea that they did. I mean, I just thought that their stuff was all recipes. And I thought that thing she said they did where they challenged everyone to eat dinner as a family for 4 days a week. It made me cry. It still touches me when she talks about the map and how they watched all those pictures come in from all around the world. And I thought that was so awesome. And I think we've really been in this class and another one that I'm taking, community relations. I think it's really been hit really hard that as we're sharing things and being an advocate to not wrap it in the religious wrapping because the secular world disregards it. And I thought of how powerful that was. That had nothing to do with religion, but there are a lot of wonderful, wonderful people in the world that are not LDS that grabbed hold of that and made it a goal to have dinner as a family. And when I thought of that map and all those pictures coming in, it just really touched me. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had watched that video about the Six Sisters that we had posted. I'd watched it for another class a couple semesters ago. And along with it, there was an article just about how there's so much bad on the internet and there's so many bad things that we can do. You know, there's so much pornography and so many wrong things posted. But it's our responsibility to fill the internet with good things. That there's people that are paid to fill it with bad things. We need to be filling it with good things. And that like that family does a great job of, like you said, showing the secular, like taking a secular thing, not necessarily religious, but teaching good and true principles. And I think they're awesome. I really respect them a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It was something specific and doable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like their goal wasn't, let's improve families. It was really specific. Let's encourage families to have dinner together. And I keep thinking, okay, what's my thing? What could I promote? What specific thing, you know, could I do? But
yeah, I'm
still thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, you know, and she said, what do you feel impressed to share? I'm like, oh, well, there's a lot of stuff. I feel like Elder Budner even talked, even that dragonfly thing. You know, you have to focus on something. So I guess I'm like you, Alicia. I'm trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to have, like, not my mission, but what do I want to focus on? And all my posts kind of be centered around that type thing. And yeah, and there's a lot of things that I think are important, but it's hard to focus on one thing. But they said that's really important. Part of it is focusing on one thing.
Well, I don't know if all of you guys have felt this, but I'm hearing it from Kim and Alicia. I think all of us at this point are questioning, what are we going to do with this? And how are we going to be an advocate? And I was at a retirement dinner Saturday night, and I went and talked to a woman who's been on the school board here for years. She's in her 80s. And I just love her so much. She's just an amazing Christian woman. She's not LDS, but I was talking to her and she said, where are you in school? And I said, well, I'm almost done. And so we talked all about that. And I said, I'm just having a hard time knowing, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to make a difference? And she just looked at me and she said, you ask the Lord and he'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And I thought, no brainer. Haven't done that yet. But I thought that was really powerful. It's so true. I totally believe as we work through this, he's going to let us know if we ask him. It's like, provide a way or prepare a way or show me what I need to pursue or how I can. I think if we ask Heavenly Father, he's going to let us all know what we can do.
So I think mine, I guess similar to the Six Sisters, is family dinner. Like I've seen the threat as, you know, dinner time is diminishing. Like my daughter had a friend come over. I was writing my research English paper for 301 on family dinner. And I asked her, I said, so what does family dinner look like at your house? And she said, that's weird. We don't do that. And I was surprised that, you know, she had said that because she eats over here a lot with us. And she said when she first stayed over here with us and we were all sitting together at the table, she just thought that it was weird. But she's used to it over here because that's what we do. But thinking or realizing that outside the cultural norm is, you know, family dinner is declining. And so I've done a lot of research on family dinner. And I think I've done it for the last 2.5, 3 years as I've been working on this major. And it's so important. And all the benefits that you get from it and all the negatives that are thwarted or are more likely avoided with family dinner, it's like, that's just important. So I think for me that's been my answer, because you were talking about asking the Lord. Like I always knew it was important. And my husband used to say, why is it important? But as I've gone through this major and I've discovered why it's important and what it can bring us, that's the message I want to share to the world is, you know, have family dinner, you know, and I even chose it for my practicum to do for my practicum workshop. And the teacher's like, I think that might be a little bit narrow, but no, we pulled it off. It's important, and you can fill 2+ hours just on why we should have family dinner.
Wanda, I don't know if you would feel comfortable sharing your papers with me, but I am keeping a notebook from this semester, and it's an advocacy notebook, and it's just so that is one thing I have not studied too, and so I would love to have just to see your research and just your practicum paper just to put in that notebook. I would love that as a resource.
Definitely.
That'd be awesome. I will send you my email. So, anybody else have anything else they? Go ahead, Haley.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna mention, unless Kim, you wanted to talk more about that. I was gonna kind of the dragonfly and what you guys thought about the 4 wings of the dragonfly.
I don't think this was one of the wings, but the concept of act and then think was really surprising to me, because I feel like my whole life I've been taught to do the opposite. Like, think things through before you do something, and it made a lot of sense to me, because they were saying just try things and try whatever comes to your mind, and then whatever works, like put more energy into that and let the other things go. And that was like a completely new concept to me.
Well, and I think
Kim, were you going to share something? Oh, go ahead, Wanda.
Sorry. No, I said, go ahead, Wanda. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just had a kind of a question that doesn't have anything to do with the dragonfly thing. So I guess I'm struggling with, so I'm going to post something, but I don't want to, it said it shouldn't be like religious. So I was wondering, how do I find that balance with like bearing a testimony, but not bearing a testimony? Does that make any sense? How do I share something on social media, but not be preachy, but still have a strong message when I'm all about God and Christ? So how do I I don't know if anybody else is kind of struggling with that. That's kind of, I'm like, how do I do that? Any advice?
Well, along with those lines, I had a friend a few years ago, and she was selling her home. So another mutual friend came in to help her stage her home. So she had to take down the pictures of Christ and all these other. She's like, that's just so weird. She didn't feel comfortable doing that, removing pictures of the Savior, but the house sold really fast. I mean, whatever advice this mutual friend gave her was accurate. So how do we do that without depersonalizing ourselves?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, and especially, you want to be authentic, which is what everybody says, you be authentic, be who you are. So how do you I don't know, I guess I'm struggling with how do I do that?
So I kind of have a thought, because I'm on social media a lot. And my husband and we do a lot of outdoorsy things like skiing and rock climbing and biking and stuff. And so we will post, we actually made our own little Instagram account, and we'll just post about doing things together and how much fun we have. And I know that I've gotten comments and that people have said, it's fun just to see you out doing good things together. And though we're not sharing our testimonies or anything, I think even posting, we did a race with his family, just a little 5K for Christmas, and we just posted family fun run or whatever. And I think that that's a way, at least I hope that that's a way that I'm showing doing things with your family. You guys have all mentioned family dinners, even if you posted getting together with the family tonight or whatever. I think that that's a simple way to share a message of the family and to show there's a mom and a dad and kids, even though that's something that we all think there's so much out there about homosexuality, and all of that. And so I think just showing like family happiness, and there's some families that maybe go overboard. They're like, oh, this is us doing our crafts together or whatever. And it seems a little unrealistic. But if you show like realistic, fun things that you do as a family, I think that that's an easy message to share. It's just one, but that's kind of one I thought of.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a great idea.
I also think that, like, have any of you gone to the website Fight the New Drug?
Yeah.
About porn?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not religious at all, but it's totally fighting the fight against porn. And I think it's like they have tons of research on there. Like if you read any of their articles, I think the footnotes at the bottom are at least as long as the article itself. And like that's a lot of work, but I like their approach because I feel like they're going to reach people beyond just an LDS audience, you know.
Thank you.
That is one of the things I thought of, is that if you have a topic that you're kind of wanting to post on, even if it's something close to your heart spiritually, if maybe you could quote something from research, you know, something that you read, or just look something up before that, you know, like one on family dinners, you could read, you know, because any sort of research like that, I think speaks to people, that it's not just somebody's opinion, or there's more to it.
How many of you guys have taken the Family 100 class?
I have.
I think I have. Yeah, I'm sure I have.
So I think I liked that one because it took, I took it the same time I did Religion 200. So they were both on the proclamation, but it was through two different lenses, right? Like one was going through all the conference talks to support it. And the other one talked about all the research and studies that support the principles and doctrines taught in the proclamation. And so I think anytime we come across, you know, to your point on research, anytime we come across, you know, even those principles, even the gospel lens, we can generally find some sort of research or something that will support what it is we're having to say.
Cool. Thank you, ladies. Give me some ideas.
I just went for my post, I just honestly went to YouTube and searched family fun, I think is what I put in the search engine. I can't remember. And several videos came up. And so what I posted for mine was just a picture of these little girls. They come into their dad, they come running in and they say, will you make us a paper airplane? And he says, sure, go get me the paper. So they go and get him the paper, and it just shows that whole process to music of him. It's very simple, just making this awesome airplane for these girls. And then it shows them going outside playing. So as I was watching that, I had all kinds of thoughts that were definitely spiritually based, but I just posted that video from YouTube. So something that means something to us spiritually and presents a truth and a value, but we're not necessarily saying this is my opinion.
Have you guys seen those old church commercials? That's what it made me think of. It's about family, it's about time, or something like those. Where you could easily find those on YouTube, and they don't have a religious message at all that they're discussing necessarily. You know, it's about families. But I think the benefit of doing something like that, because somebody will say, oh, they're not all preaching about God and religion, they're just talking about families. But the nice thing is that it's, you know, from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So it might even spread not just the family message, but somebody that might be interested might also look into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to see what it is that they believe.
Cool.
That's a great idea.
A good idea.
This might just be Utah thing, but this is reminding me of the billboards that I see on the freeway that are about like qualities. Like I'll see billboards about compassion or persistence, and they always have like an example of a historical figure that emulates that quality. But I know there's a website related to them. If I find it, I'll let you know, because it's not religious. but it goes along with our beliefs. Has anyone out of state seen billboards like this, or are they only in Utah?
I haven't seen them where we live.
Okay.
I think I've seen them in Idaho too, but I know
Yeah.
mainly in Utah. But they're awesome. Like, I really like them. And that's something that I miss when I leave this state and then I come back and I'm like, oh, that's a cute little thing by Gandhi or something.
Yeah.
Because they are just cute little messages that are good.
Driving through Provo is always like, that's funny. All the billboards are religious.
But if you were into like photography, if you were like into photography, or everybody has their phone, that's a great idea. Is if you saw a billboard that you thought was awesome, to take a picture of it, or if you saw somebody doing something cool with their kids or whatever, you could take a picture and then just post a little something. One of the things I'm trying to grasp is, when I think of this, it always seems big. Like, what am I going to do that's big? And this just keeps reminding me it does not have to be big. There was one of the quotes I wrote about. A small act can create a big change. That was one of the things I wrote down from this week. And it says, so I thought of that. It doesn't have to be big, just kind of on our mind all the time, kind of in the back of your head, but not a huge thing that we're doing.
I agree with that. I think it was Sherry that was talking about the home that was for sale with the pictures of Christ. Was that you, Sherry?
No, it was Wanda.
Oh, that was Wanda. Okay, sorry, Wanda. So yeah, the home with like the pictures of Christ. And that just kind of makes me think that, like, even though the pictures of Christ weren't up in the home, they were living in a way and keeping the spirit in their home that when people came in, they could feel that. And like, just the way that we live our lives, if we're studying our scriptures, going to the temple, praying, just the simple things and living our lives right, that people will see that. And no matter what we share, oh good, you found it. No matter what we share, it will show through who we really are. It'll show through our values. It'll show through those truths, as long as we're doing the right things.
Well, and along the same lines of small, I keep thinking, the Savior ministered one by one on a very personal, intimate basis, right? And it was about reaching out to the one. So I think even if we just hit the one, that's what's important. So even if our small whatever just touches one life, that's one life that we've helped.
Mm-hmm.
Was it this class where there was talk about how happiness is contagious, and one happy person, leads to a happy family, and it rubs off on their friends, and that it lasts longer than you would think? That was this class. I liked that. I think that goes along with what you're saying, Wanda, that even within our immediate circle of influence, we have a lot of power by what we do.
Well, I was thinking about what Haley said when our kids were in high school. We had a lot of, because we live in a really small town, there's not a lot of productive things to do. So we would have dances at our house and anybody could come. Our kids were the only LDS kids in this little school here. So it was open to everyone and everybody would come and have these dances. And one church that lived in another school district, they would all come. They were in our ward. She said that she was talking to some friends after that she'd invited from this other school district, and something came up about our family or something. And they said, "Are you talking about the Jesus house?" And she said, "The Jesus house? What do you mean the Jesus house?" And she said, "Well, is that those people that we went to their house for that activity? They had more pictures of Jesus in their house than anyone I've ever seen. We have 2 pictures of Jesus in our house." But that was the one thing that they remembered about our house, was the 2 pictures they had seen of Christ. So sometimes there's stuff that people notice that you just don't, you don't even notice as people are even going to pick up on. They said, "Oh yeah, that party was so fun." And it is little things. We had a exchange group from Germany that came. There were 30 kids from Germany that came, and we had one of the girls stay with us for a month. And we had one of these big dances and parties when these kids were here. And we have a big, huge, great room. And so we pushed all the furniture back, what we did, and we just play music and we have snacks. And one of the things afterwards, she was sitting in her room and was really quiet. And I was worried that something happened or that she was homesick. And so I went in and sat with her for a second and asked her if she was okay. And she said yes, that she was fine. And then I left and then I came back. I was prompted to go back in there and I said, Lisa, are you okay? And she said, this was an 18-year-old teenager from Germany. She said, I have never gone to a party in my entire life where there was not alcohol, and I cannot believe how much fun I had. So sometimes it's just like having just our daily things that we do and inviting people who aren't members, they get opportunities. And I didn't really even do anything. She was just there.
So you're saying just living our normal lives. We can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when you were talking about the pictures of Jesus, I thought like things that we just take for granted and they seem so normal to us. Like to Wanda, family dinner is normal. And we're shocked when we hear that people don't have it. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Was there anything else anybody wanted to share or talk about? I'm just looking at my notes.
Kind of going back to the articles, I was just looking at mine too. I just thought it was interesting how easy it was to find 2 blogs and 2 posts. I don't know, it's everywhere. I think that people are doing a good job at posting good things. And one of the ones I wrote about was a Facebook post about a couple getting engaged. And that's something that you see like almost every day. But I just thought that that was a simple message, that they didn't share anything about like man and wife getting married in the temple or whatever. But, you know, you can see that they're going to get married in the temple and that they're happy. And I just thought that that was a really simple but powerful message of love and between man and woman, and how easy that was for them to share that message. So I just thought, as I was looking for it, I'm not usually looking for like family things that stand out, but it was really easy to find them when I was looking for it.
Which is really cool. One of the things when I'm feeling like I need a break from school or I am stressed, in between studying, I will go to YouTube and either watch engagement videos, like where somebody's gotten engaged, or I will watch, you guys will think I'm a weirdo. I will watch when military guys come home unexpectedly. And I feel so great after. I'm just like, okay, I'm ready to study again. But it's made me realize too, there's a lot of really good, positive things that we can get on social media or the internet.
Mm-hmm. I would love to hear what websites and posts everyone found, actually. I shared my 2 posts, but Fight the New Drug was the website that I chose because I think they do such a good job getting the word out, and like I felt like their site represents all the 4 wings. And then another site I chose is called The Small Seed. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard it, but it like promotes scripture study and good things like that. And it's not, I mean, it is LDS based because there are Book of Mormon scriptures and stuff and prophets that they refer to. But I like what they're promoting.
One of the websites I chose, what's called The Better Mom. It's actually a Facebook page. It just encourages mothers, all mothers, to do their best, and what they're doing is enough. And I thought that was good for all mothers. Are kind of wanting to do their best. And another one on Instagram. There's a couple that they're on YouTube, and every Sunday they post an Instagram post of their whole family dressed for church, and they always share a spiritual message. I'm like, hey, you're showing like like Haley said, a happy family, dressed Sunday for church, and they're not preaching, but they're just sharing what they believe in, a spiritual message for the day, and I really appreciate that. Which is a whole family can be happy.
Which assignment are you guys talking about? I'm looking at it and I don't know which one you're talking about.
It says which websites, blogs we're preparing for today. It says identify which websites, blogs you visit first, then share. Do you agree or disagree with the argument made? What were some of the readings from the Dragonfly Effect as a barometer? And then somewhere else it listed like just a list, a couple websites or Instagram things that you would found, like a micro and macro type of message. Micro smaller, macro is bigger. But I can't remember where I just copied that.
It was on the second due date.
What did you say, Haley?
It was for the second due date, so I think it's due tomorrow night, but it's in preparation for this meeting.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because I did the Power of Social Media one where you created a blog or a post or whatever.
Yeah, it's the other one. But something I was going to say, one of the blogs that I found it's called wearethatfamily.com, and it's a mom of teenagers, and she just kind of shares crazy stories that happen with her teenagers and like how she handles them. And I just thought it was fun. And she's not Mormon, but I think she's Christian because she mentions God a few times, but it's not like a ton about God. It's just like, we are a family that believe in God, that are full of teenagers and crazy things that happen with that or whatever. And it's really cute. And I just thought that was fun to see a non-LDS, but God believing and good message sharing about family and teenagers and just kind of the simple things of life. So that was a fun one.
The ones that I had written down, there's a blog. It's actually my 3 daughters that do it. And it's called Go Spread the Good. And they post during the week. They have I don't know if it's called Manic Monday or something like that, where they show a picture of themselves in their normal state. Usually, either they worked out or they're with their kids and they have no makeup or whatever. It's just like them in their normal life. And they each post, but the whole purpose of their blog is to spread good. And so they tell realistic stories about themselves and what it's, what life is really like as a young mom. But it's all things that are uplifting. It's called Go Spread the Good. So that was one of the ones.
Cute. Well, is there
Sherry, can you put a link to that? Because I can't find it.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking that with all these links, maybe we can put them on our HOA discussion board, and then we can all have easy access to them.
Okay, that's where I'll put it, Wanda.
We have a visitor.
Yeah.
What's your name?
This is Eve.
Eve. Good morning. It might not be morning anymore where you are. I don't know.
It's still morning. It's
okay. Okay.
Okay, well, should we go over the summary then? You guys?
Yep, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay, so some notes that I took is that at very first we talked about how it's good to see the positives of social media, that sometimes that is hard to see, but there really is a lot of good. We talked about the different forms of social media: Tumblr, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, Marco Polo. There's a bunch of other ones, but those are the main ones that I wrote down. And then we talked about Elder Bednar's talk and how inventions would come and prophets were inspired and could see our day, and that people have been inspired to create the internet for missionary work. Someone said that it's the greatest thing, but the biggest challenge for mankind, the internet. thought that was interesting. And then I loved that quote by Henry Ford that Alicia shared. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that an airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. We talked a little bit about how the apostles are so involved in the world and that they know what's going on and that they're not just a bunch of old guys, that they really do know what's happening. Someone mentioned LDS.org, and if you go to Create Media or something like that, there's a way to spread good messages that people will post cute quotes or whatever that we can share. We talked about the Six Sisters blog and how they have challenged to eat dinner as a family, and how the importance of eating dinner as a family, and that that's a good thing that we can share. And then we had a couple of questions about like what we can share and how we can share good things. I wrote down that we can find world problems like pornography to share, that it doesn't have to be just a church problem, but that's something that the world faces, and that we can all post about things like that the world is facing, and also to use research because it speaks to people, and then something that means to us and teaches truth. Then we talked a little about the billboards and how that's a good way to spread good truths. We mentioned a few things about hanging pictures of Christ and just kind of being who we are and living the way that we live. And in the end, we just kind of said that there's lots of simple family messages that we can share and a lot of good things on the internet. So that's what I got.
Hey, can you post those notes, Haley, so we can print them out?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Did you guys want it on the email? Was that the easiest way?
That'll work. Yeah, that's fine for me.
And also, I sent an email with the link to this Google Hangout at the beginning, and I was kind of asking some of you, but do you need me to email you the link to the Hangout, or is it just easiest? Do you all go on to Google Hangouts, the website anyways? That you don't need the email.
I can just wait for you to call, and then I'm like, oh, there it is. So
yeah, I just go to the website.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do now too.
Wanda, do you do that as well, or do you do? Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
Yes.
You guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
thanks.
Another good discussion.
Okay. And I'll go post
You guys have a great week.
my links on the website.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what it's called. Discussion board.
Should we close this share real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was going to say that?
I was, which is why I thought about it. Okay. Our dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful that we could have this time to discuss the influence that we might have and the ways we might share thy messages with others. Please bless us, Father, that as we go out to the world, that we might be able to feel thy promptings to do so, and what it is that thou would have us share, and in a way and manner that is pleasing unto thee. And we say this in Jesus Christ's name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wanda. You guys have a good week.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.